John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hello, this is John Ulzheimer. I am a consumer credit expert. I've got almost 30 years of experience in the credit industry. I have spent time at FICO, which is the company behind the FICO credit scoring system, and Equifax, which is one of the 3 generally recognized credit reporting agencies in the United States. So today I'm going to talk about credit scoring, and specifically we're going to talk about how credit scoring works. This is going to be real hard to do in a 5-minute video. I've spent days on this topic before, making presentations to groups, trying to explain to them how credit scoring works, but I'm going to try to boil it down into 5 minutes. Credit scores are used primarily by lenders to assess the risk of doing business with consumers. And so they're very influential to whether or not you can get credit and then the terms that you're going to pay for credit, like interest rates, things like that. Credit scoring systems are essentially a series of algorithms or models that are designed and developed by different companies. So for example, FICO, Fair Isaac, is a company that is widely credited with inventing credit scoring. Their credit scores have been in commercial circulation since 1989. And then you have VantageScore Solutions, which is a product of the 3 credit reporting agencies. Their scoring systems have been around since 2006, so 15 years now. So the question about how do they work is actually pretty simple if you want to boil it down. Think of credit scoring models as a filter. Okay, let's talk like your coffee filter, right? Where you put all your coffee grounds and you're gonna pour water through it, and then what comes out on the bottom is delicious, yummy coffee. So think of it that way. Think of a credit scoring system as the filter, and the grounds in the filter are is the model. And the water that's poured through the filter is your credit report. And what comes out on the other side? Delicious coffee. But in this case, it's your credit report with a score appended to it. So when you apply for credit somewhere, the credit reporting agencies are going to compile your credit report out of information in their credit file databases. So think of that as a gigantic pool of information that's floating around. All this data is floating around. And when you apply somewhere, the credit bureaus are going to take a big net and scoop all the information out of the pool that belongs to you. And once they find all this information, they're going to compile it into a credit report and then score it, which is where they drop it through the filter and have a score appended to it. And credit scoring models are going to generally look for information that falls into one of 5 categories. So payment history, which is the way I discuss that is the presence or lack of bad stuff. So things like judgments, tax liens, which really aren't on credit reports any longer, but they used to be. Bankruptcies, collections, charge-offs, settlements, repossessions, late payments. Those are the types of things that are going to be measured in the payment history, a series of metrics. Debt. So this is going to be things like your utilization, how many accounts with balances, what types of accounts with balances. Those are going to be the metrics that fall into that category. Time and file. This is a big one that people tend to completely ignore. This is the age of your credit report. Not your age, but the age of your credit report. So things like, how old is the oldest account on your credit report? What's the average age of the accounts on your credit report? And in this scenario, or in this context, older is always going to be better. People forget about that one, and they shouldn't. It's worth 15% of the points in your score. Next is going to be kind of the diversity category. Do you have a nice mix of different types of accounts on your credit report? Or are you just someone who has student loans? Or are you just somebody who has revolving accounts? Or do you have a nice mix of different types of accounts? And then finally is the inquiry category, which people love to obsess over, which is really a waste of their time. And this is going to be the lowest category on the list of metrics, meaning that yes, it's a fact that inquiries, some of them, are seen and considered by scoring systems. You're not going to go from FICO 800 to FICO 500 because you have a couple of inquiries. That's not the value of inquiries. But yes, they are considered, and they can cause you to have a lower score. That is a factual representation. So those are the 5 categories. So if you think of it from that perspective, that's going to be the category of metrics that make up what's in the filter, the coffee filter that we keep referring to. those models are usually redeveloped every few years by FICO and by VantageScore, so that you have a newer version that's going to be more powerful, meaning it's going to do a better job of identifying or delineating between someone who's a good credit risk and someone who is not a good credit risk. And obviously people who are a good credit risk are going to score higher, and people who are a poor credit risk are going to score lower. And if you score low, then you run the chance of being denied credit or being approved with punitive terms. And if you score higher, then you're going to have more lenders competing for your business, and you're going to get really good interest rates. So that's kind of a high-level overview of how credit scoring works. If you have any more specific questions, drop them in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to get to them. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great rest of your year. Now I want coffee. I've been talking about coffee for the last 5 minutes. Have a great rest of your day.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.